How to use gradient fills as a smart object in Photoshop to create a super colourful design. Something like this. Go to the Layer menu, New Fill Layer and Gradient. Give it a name, click OK. Select a gradient type of linear. Select one of the gradients. I'm going to go with one of the default gradients. Click OK. Go to Layer menu, New Fill Layer and Gradient. Select a different gradient, change type, change angle, etc. Click OK. You now have two layers. Go over to the Layers panel, select the first layer and change the blending mode to Difference. In the Layers panel, select both of those gradient layers. With both selected, go to the Layer menu, Smart Objects and Convert to Smart Object. Resize the two-layer gradient smart object. You can resize, rotate, transform the object in many different ways. Hold down the Alt or Option key and drag and duplicate the object. Fill the entire document with those rectangle designs. You can also resize the smart objects, you can rotate the smart objects, you can apply various warps and much more. So you can create a really complex layered design very easily. I'm going to delete all those duplicates because what I want is to use Liquify and then duplicate that smart object. Go to the Filter menu and apply Liquify. The Liquify is then a smart filter which can be changed at any point. Once you're in the Liquify panel, go to the brushes and then warp and distort the gradients in numerous ways, create all kinds of unique designs. Then click OK. Hold the Alt or Option key down and drag to duplicate the liquefied smart object. Repeat the duplication and fill the entire document with those liquefied smart objects that also contain those two gradient layers. You can resize and rotate any of those smart objects. When you do that, you will see the original gradient layer bounding box. What you can then do is rotate it. When you press return, the transformation will be applied. The Liquify will then be applied to the new shape. The result will be a very different liquefied and distorted smart object. Repeat this action multiple times, resizing, rotating and changing the designs. You could of course just leave them all identical, really up to you. Once you've applied all your transformations, added as many smart objects as you would like, then just go over to the Layers panel. Select all of the smart objects, scroll down through the Layers panel and select them all. I want all those smart objects to be converted into a single smart object. Really nice, handy way of grouping them all together as a smart object. Go to the Layers menu and Smart Objects and Convert to Smart Object. You will now see a single smart object in the Layers panel. Select that smart object and resize it. Make it smaller. Press Return. Go to Filter menu and Liquify. Once you're in the Liquify panel, go to the brushes and again apply Liquify brushes and distort the image in numerous ways. Once you're happy with the distortion, click OK. Hold down the Alt or Option key and drag to duplicate that smart object. The smart object now contains multiple smart objects. Fill the entire document with those smart objects. Go to the Layers panel, select all of those smart objects, then go to the Layer menu and Smart Objects and Convert to Smart Object. This is quite a complex smart object. You can repeat this indefinitely, well, until your machine decides it's running out of memory. Once you've done that, go to the Filter menu and Stylize and Oil Paint, set the stylisation and cleanliness to high and click OK. Repeat a number of times to create a really smeary design. Hold down the Alt or Option key, duplicate that smart object and then go to the Layers panel, set the top object's blending mode to lighten. Also resize it, make it slightly bigger and also rotate it slightly as well. Press Return. Select both of those smart objects in the Layers panel and then go to the Layer menu and Smart Objects and Convert to Smart Object. You can see a bit of a theme here, can't you, with these smart objects. Really find smart objects super useful. They can be used with most things in Photoshop. You should only have one smart object in the Layers panel. Go to the Filter menu and Stylize and Oil Paint. Apply it a couple of times again setting the stylisation and cleanliness to high values to really create a beautiful smeary design. You can also use image adjustments. Go to Image menu, Adjustments and Levels and change the input levels to brighten up the image a bit. Click OK. If required, save the work to your library. The smart objects can be changed at any point. Go to the Smart Objects in the Layers panel. Double-click the Smart Object icon. To open the contents, now go to the Layers panel and repeat. If you have multiple Smart Objects in the Layers panel, just go to the first one and click that Smart Objects icon to open the contents for the Smart Object. You may find that the Smart Object opening takes a bit of time to process. Maybe the size, the complexity, size of the document, and much more. I've reached the point of the gradient fill layers. Go to the Layers panel, double-click the top gradient layer to bring up the gradient panel. What you can then do is change the preset. You can add stops, etc. You can also change the type, you can change the origin, and much more. Once you're happy with that, click OK. Go to the other gradient and double-click to bring up the gradient panel. And then change the gradient, add gradient stops if you wish, as well as change the gradient type, change the origin, and much more. Once you're happy with that, click OK. Now you should see a very different gradient than before. Select the top layer and then go to Layer menu and Duplicate Layer. Now you have 3 layers. Go to the gradient in the Layers panel, double-click on the gradient to bring up the panel, then change the preset, change the scale, the type, the angle, origin, etc. Once you're happy, click OK. You have 3 layers. You could, of course, create more than that. Close the document and save. Repeat this over and over again until you reach the top level. You can change the source gradients at any point, so literally thousands and thousands of different designs can be created from this single source just by changing the smart objects. You could also add patterns as well as solid fills to this object. You could also import images, add additional filters as well as adjustments, add styles such as bevels, shadows, glows, patterns and strokes, etc. The smart objects can be changed at any point. They're infinitely flexible. Click Close and save the smart object. Keep closing and saving the smart objects all the way back to the main level. It's an experiment. I really don't know what the end result will be. When I start with the change to the gradient, when I go all the way back, the end result is often a surprise. It could be great, it could be dire. If you're unhappy with the design, of course you can always just stop at that point and then re-edit all of the smart objects, go back to the gradient and just change it again. A subtle change to a gradient may result in a much better image. Click Save and Close again. The single smart object contains all of the smart objects. It also has a few filters and adjustments added. You can now save your image to your libraries via the Window menu. You can also go to Layer menu and Flatten Image. Go to the Filter menu and Stylize and Oil Paint and apply a couple of times. Go to the Image menu, Adjustments and Levels, and then change the input settings and brighten the image. Click OK. You may wish to add additional adjustments, perhaps vibrance. Go to Image menu, Adjustments and Vibrance, set the values to a reasonably high level, click OK. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. I'm always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator and other parts of the Creative Cloud. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel. Also, please add some comments, always appreciated. A dislike or like. Thank you much.